Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, ghouls, and ghosts. I'm Drew.
And I'm Amy.
And welcome to the Séance Parlor. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Séance Parlor. We are here tonight to bring you a very spooky haunted house. One of the most famous haunted houses in America. Probably one of the most famous haunted house stories in the world, if I'm guessing. So we're going to bring you that, and I'm sure if you clicked on this video or you clicked on this episode on Spotify, there's no surprise. We're talking about the Amityville house, made famous in pop culture by some of the movies that have been made over time, and a lot of controversy about the case in and of itself. And was it haunted? Was it hoax? Was it somewhere in between? So we're going to dive in and we're going to talk about all of that tonight. But before we do, you know what we got to do. We do it every week. We got to talk about what's going on in the world of the strange and the unexplained. So without further ado, we are going to bring you into our paranormal news. And folks, we got something cool to talk about tonight. We have the Haunted Warren Museum is open in Salem. As of the time that this video comes out, you will be able to go visit Annabelle herself at the Haunted Warren Museum. So one of the most famous collections of paranormal artifacts in the world is officially returning to public display. The Haunted Warren Museum opens to the public in Salem, Massachusetts on August 27th. You may have seen August 26th promoted on social media because that was the museum's originally announced opening date. Current ticketed public admission begins August 27th. So the museum is located on 259 Essex Street in Salem, and the project is brought to us by comedian Matt Rife and paranormal investigator and content creator Elton Casti. Rife and Casti took stewardship of Ed and Lorraine's former home and paranormal collection. And the cool thing is this isn't an Annabelle exhibit. Like, right. You know, that's a lot of the focus right now is that this is, you know, like an Annabelle talk. But the new museum is advertising 13 exhibits containing more than 1,000 artifacts connected to the paranormal cases, occult history, and some true crime. The centerpiece is obviously the original Raggedy Ann doll Annabelle. You know, she's historically been housed with the Warren Collection in Monroe, Connecticut. But as of August 24th, Annabelle kicked it up on the road. She's no longer at the original Warren house. She's being relocated to Salem. We all know about how good it went the last time she was on the road. Yeah. So she's one of the centerpieces of the new museum, obviously, but there's several other famous Warren artifacts that are moving with her. So that includes the infamous conjuring mirror is going to be at the exhibit. Yep, absolutely. The shadow doll. There is the dinosaur toy that's connected to Arnie Cheyenne Johnson and the Devil Made Me Do It case. Yep. There's a purported 17th century witch's door. How appropriate for the destination. Yeah. There's going to be Egyptian artifacts, and there's also a true crime collection, and it's going to have objects associated with people including Ed Gein, Charles Manson, Ted Bundy, and Jeffrey Dahmer. The museum isn't being presented like a traditional brightly lit museum either. This is pretty cool. Visitors will reportedly experience the collection through roughly a 1-hour self-guided flashlight tour. Ooh. Yeah. They're saying general admission is going to be around $50. Visitors have to be at least 12. But if you're not 18, you have to be accompanied by a legal guardian. And once you're inside, no phones, no photography, no video or audio recording at all. So you're essentially walking through the Warren Collection in Salem with a flashlight and no phone. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Salem obviously feels like a pretty natural home for one of the world's most famous collections of allegedly haunted occult objects. But there's also a practical reason for the move. The original Warren property in Monroe is residentially zoned. Those pesky laws, you know, are stupid things we got to follow. So substantially more people can experience it now that it's in Salem because it's moved to a commercially zoned building. The Salem Museum is currently being promoted as a limited time attraction. It's expected to operate through the fall and into the Christmas season. Ooh. Oh, Christmas Annabelle? I would love Christmas Annabelle. Yeah, we'll go bring her a present. What ultimately happens with the collection after that hasn't been fully announced yet. So We're gonna find out, but I think this is super cool. We've been talking about this. Annabelle holds a special place in our heart. This passion project of ours was launched off the backs of talking about Annabelle.
Yeah.
It was our first episode, and she's just such a cool story. The Conjuring universe has brought her to light, but the Warrens have so much history in their paranormal career, and I just think it's really cool what Elton and Matt are doing, especially putting it in a position where more people can see it. And I think Salem is a perfect home.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's for me, it's I'm always going to be a little bit biased. I mean, we're not true New Englanders or Bostonians or anything along those lines, but we're from the Northeast.
Yeah.
So having this right in my backyard, not that it wasn't when it was in Connecticut, but we're fortunate that it didn't move across the country to LA or something like that.
Exactly.
We're still in driving distance. We're in striking distance. We can get out there if we want to.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Would you pay $50 to walk through on a flashlight tour of the Warren Museum?
Seems pricey, probably. But I also feel like it seems like, just from some of the clips that I've been seeing on social media, just of them like teasing the museum, it almost kind of seems like it's a little bit of like a haunted house vibe.
Ooh.
Like, not necessarily just walk through and look at everything. It looks like there was some like animatronic type things going on.
I wonder if that's all the same experience. I wonder if there's like different like attractions on different days or like at different times or anything like that. Because I feel like there's definitely going to be some people that are like, I just want to go check this out.
Yeah.
Like as much as I love haunted and spooky stuff, don't pop an animatronic out at me. I hate that stuff.
Yeah.
I try so hard. Like, I'll go to the Headless Horseman and I'll leave just being like, I just wanted to have such a good time and I just didn't.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure it's not like a full like haunted house.
Yeah.
I mean, those objects are, I'd be interested to see what it looks like for sure, because like you can't touch any of that stuff. Like, that's very like well known. And
I will say though, like, that's just general museum etiquette, right?
Yeah.
Like, you just don't touch.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's a dinosaur bone or a haunted toy dinosaur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the Van Gogh.
Yeah.
The Starry Night. I don't think they want you touching that.
I don't think they want you touching anything that's in a museum. I think that's kind of the purpose of it being in a museum. It's kind of like a look, don't touch environment. So, I think I would pay $50.
I would.
Yeah, to go through on a flashlight tour. I think it's like it's like a piece of history. It's and in the paranormal world, I think it's like a huge piece of the history.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Annabelle leaving the Warren house?
I feel a little sketchy about that.
Yeah.
You know how she does on the road.
Yeah. I mean, with where was it, with New Orleans last time? I mean, that was a mess.
I'd be interested to see, just like with all the attention, like obviously that she's gonna be getting, like if anything,
fired up.
Exactly.
Charged up like a crystal in the moonlight.
Weird happens.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see what goes on, but I kind of feel the same way. Like I love what they're doing. I love that they're putting her in a position where it's like more people get to go out and experience Annabelle. And I keep saying Annabelle, just really like all of like the history of the Warrens. But what does that stir up when you start moving those things around? When they've kind of been in a home that they found. I don't know. I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah.
What do you think about like Salem as like a potential permanent location?
I mean, I think it would be cool.
Yeah.
I feel like they'll probably do something a little closer to the house.
You think so?
I think so.
Yeah. I think like, obviously we'll want to make the right choice for like the paranormal community and the right choice for the artifacts and things like that. But also, if I'm thinking in like a business minded mindset, we'll probably want to keep it where the people are going, and no better destination, in my opinion, than Salem.
Yeah.
For something of that nature.
Yeah.
You're already pulling in all the tourism for folks that want that kind of vibe. So I feel like it's in the best place. And honestly, even if, after the stewardship, I mean, I won't even pretend to know what's going on with the profit from that. I'm sure it's easy to look up. Elton is a notorious philanthropist. Like he donates tons of money and does tons of work for charity already. So I'm sure the proceeds from the museum are going to a good cause.
Hmm.
But I'd be lying if I said I knew that for sure. But what I can say is, if maybe after the stewardship there was a way to like put that money back into like Nesper or revitalizing like the
Hmm.
Warren home.
So
Not
I
even,
think that's what they kind of are like in the process of doing. I
yeah,
think they're kind of making the Warren home a place where, and you can do it now, go and like rent it for investigations and things of that nature.
yeah.
And I think they want to make it more accessible.
They got to
And
get
like
around.
the museum being a part of that house, I just don't think is accessible for people to be able to like go in and look at all the stuff.
Well,
And
the zoning is like it's not really their choice if they
right.
can do that. So like
Hmm.
I don't know that just because they're going to dump money into it, that doesn't change the way the building
Yeah.
is zoned.
Yeah. And I think I feel like they did mention, I could be wrong, that they are working on like a permanent location for the museum itself. So I think they are going to separate the house and the museum.
Right, and that's
Um,
kind of my point is like do you
mhm.
think the museum will stay in Salem?
I don't know, because I think I think there's really only a fraction of like the collection that the Warrens have at the Salem location. And I'm almost wondering if they'll kind of do like a rotating, like keep it as a permanent like place, like an entity of the Warren Museum, but kind of keep like a rotating, um,
Yeah, like an exhibit.
yes,
Yeah. Yep.
kind of like rotate some of the objects out after like a little while. So it kind of keeps it like a little fresh and new. People can keep going back every year, see something a little bit different.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty cool. So, a lot of good content on that. Make sure if you're interested in the now open museum, that you're following Matt Rife, that you're following Elton Casti. That is at least where we have gotten a lot of the information,
Mhm.
is just the updates that they've been giving along the way. And if you go, let your boy know. Tell us
Mhm.
about it. We want to know all about it. Email us, send us a DM, hit us up, share that info. What's it like? Was it good? Was it bad?
Yeah.
Did you see Annabelle? Like, we want to know all that. So feel free to drop that, in the comments on the episode, or feel free to send us a message. But we'd love to know all about it if you do go and check it out. But moving right along, our next topic of the night, the government is investigating an alleged 100-foot triangular UAP.
Wow.
So the U.S. government is investigating claims surrounding 2 alleged videos of a massive triangular UAP reportedly filmed near a military installation in Colorado. The alleged witness was reportedly a U.S. service member, and they estimated this object to be roughly 100 feet across. The encounter reportedly happened in 2023 near a military installation in Colorado. The service member allegedly witnessed the object on 2 consecutive nights. It was described as enormous and triangular. According to the witness, it maneuvered around the mountainous terrain surrounding the installation, and perhaps most strangely, the witness believed the object appeared to use cloud cover to conceal itself.
Ooh.
The serviceman, that was what was that movie?
Nope.
Yeah, it was in Nope. It was hiding up in
That
the
was a
clouds.
crazy movie.
That was a crazy movie. That movie was nuts. So the service member reportedly captured 2 cell phone videos of the object. Those videos are reportedly now held by the Air Force Office of Special Investigations. The government has acknowledged that it is looking into allegations. Officials have also indicated that the findings could eventually be released through ongoing UAP disclosure efforts. What's interesting is that triangular UFOs are absolutely not a new phenomenon. Large black or dark triangular objects have appeared reportedly in UFO reports going back decades. They're frequently described as extremely large, nearly silent, capable of hovering, moving unusually slowly, and sometimes displaying lights at each other or at each corner. So explanations have ranged from extraterrestrial craft to classified American military aircraft. There's also some interesting new scientific research giving us the other side of this. Researchers recently examined 112 government-released UAP sensor videos. They found that in many cases there isn't enough information available to confidently determine something as basic as an object's actual speed. Something that appears extremely fast and far away could potentially be much closer and just moving considerably slower. So even military sensor footage can create observational problems that make ordinary objects appear extraordinary. But that brings us right back to these alleged Colorado videos. If the government actually has them, shouldn't we just see them? From all this disclosure, UAP talk, what's so secret about these videos versus everything else that they're showing? I mean, we've seen so much content around like flying crafts that have been publicly released, declassified, whatever you want to call it, all of this disclosure information. What is it about these two videos that are, supposedly, being studied at a more secret level?
Right. Why are they worth investigating more?
Exactly. That's kind of where my thought is. And you know what this sounds exactly like to me?
What?
Rendlesham.
Yeah.
Yeah. The description of the craft is like, is very similar. Now, obviously nothing close enough to talk about like raised hieroglyphics or, anything along those lines. But this definitely feels very reminiscent of nearly silent, large triangular craft, black triangular craft. So super interesting. There's a lot of talk right now, like, is it just classified American technology? We saw that when Project Fear was out in Groom Lake, they caught that F-47 and everybody was, at first we were like, whoa, did they get like, an alien craft, like, out investigating near Area 51? And turns out it was just, classified military tech. This could be something very similar. This could be something totally different, know? I don't know, but whenever we get UAP sightings, it's always something that I want to look into and get a little bit more information on. But yeah, I think my biggest question mark is what's different about these two that they seem so worth investigating and so worth keeping a little bit more close to the vest than they have with a lot of other. Now, I think there is like a little bit of a devil's advocate argument there where a lot of the stuff that we're getting disclosure for isn't necessarily incredibly recent. It's just they're saying like, hey, here's like a bone to chew on, and they throw you like some old UFO content. So does this potentially say that there's a lot more happening now that we don't know about?
Right. Maybe it's kind of like a statute of limitations type thing. They're like, anything before this date is good to release, or with maybe the exception of some select like cases, but
or I wonder if they're like, we'll only declassify the information that we feel like we've exhausted all research possibilities.
Right, I was gonna say that too, like stuff that they've done their due diligence and research.
Feel like we know everything we know about this. We feel like by leaking it out to the public that there's no potential harm to something coming out that we don't know about.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of speculation in the UFO world, but in the age of disclosure that we have now, why are they keeping this one so under wraps?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you know? Do you have any information on these new UAPs? If so, once again, send them over to your boy. But last on the agenda for tonight, and this is a fun one. It is, I mean, I feel like I put the paranormal news together, so I love stacking up topics that I love. But we're going to talk about a cryptid sighting. The Loch Ness Monster sightings are surging in 2026. Cryptid soundboard just sounded like something moving underwater.
Toilet flushing.
Hey, listen. When you get the cryptid soundboard, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Exactly.
Absolutely. But apparently Nessie is having herself a year. More Loch Ness Monster sightings have reportedly already been submitted in 2026 than all of 2025. And one of the newest pieces of alleged photographic evidence comes from a pretty interesting witness. It was a 9-year-old girl.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. A 9-year-old Australian girl named Crystal was visiting Loch Ness in Scotland with her family. They were taking a cruise across the loch when Crystal noticed something unusual in the water. She managed to take a photograph of what she described as the head of a creature. The photograph was submitted to the official Loch Ness Monster Sightings Register, and it became the 8th reported Nessie sighting of 2026.
Wow.
We're in August. That's one a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's
and she's
this picture?
yeah, I know, right? She's definitely not alone because reports around Loch Ness have been unusually active this year. Recent analysis of historical sightings has even attempted to determine where you're most likely to see Nessie, and apparently there are actual hotspots. This raises an interesting question, though. Are those areas producing more sightings because something actually frequents them? Or are they simply places where more tourists are standing around staring at the water, being like, where's the Loch Ness Monster?
Right.
So Loch Ness Monster sightings have now persisted for generations. Explanations have included, and I love some of these, large eels. Unusually large fish.
Unusually large fish.
Floating logs. That I could see.
Yeah.
Boat wakes. That I highly doubt. Optical illusions, misidentified wildlife. They love the misidentified wildlife. What was it last week? It was.
What do you think? Sandhill crane.
It's a sandhill crane in the water.
Nessie's just a sandhill crane, everyone.
Yeah, an aquatic sandhill crane. What was when you were talking about like the zoo, what did they say, like an escaped exotic animal or something like that? Yeah, out of the Wildwood Zoo.
yeah
Misidentified wildlife or some form of genuinely unknown large aquatic animal. I mean,
you know what
technically Nessie would be a genuinely unknown large aquatic animal. So
you know what I've seen that's like really gross, but it like looks exactly like some of the picture, like the old pictures that you see.
What?
Whale penis.
You're a child.
I'm not joking. I've seen that before, and they like put pictures, and it looks exactly like some of the, not all of them, but a couple of like the old famous like photos.
There are no whales in Lake Loch Ness.
It's just what I've seen.
I don't. Where have you seen this? What kind of sites are you on?
On the internet.
Amy's research is wholly unreliable.
Look it up. Just kidding.
But there's one huge biological problem with the traditional Nessie story. If this is a flesh and blood animal that supposedly existed in Loch Ness for generations, there probably can't just be one Nessie. So you would presumably need a breeding population capable of sustaining itself, which means we're not really asking how one giant creature has remained hidden.
It's multiple.
Right. We're potentially asking how an entire population of huge animals has avoided definitive detection, which that's a much different conversation. That would be pretty anomalous to think like, there's a population of giant unidentified sea creatures or lake creatures that have completely escaped detection for all of time. So, I mean, I think the real question is 8 sightings in 1 year actually compelling? I definitely think so. Or do tourism webcams and smartphones simply make sightings more likely? I also think so. I think both things can be true at once. I don't know what the most realistic explanation would be, but I think that enough people are seeing something strange in the lake. I do wonder though, if you go into some of these like lake towns, like how many lakes have like a lake creature?
Yeah, because we know Lake Champlain does.
Yeah, Champ. If you put Champ and Nessie in the same lake, who's taking the dub?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm thinking Nessie.
Probably Nessie.
Yeah, I feel like Nessie's gigantic.
Yeah, and she's got that Scottish blood. Like it's just.
Yeah. She'll drink more than it. No offense to the Scots out there, we love you. You got some of the greatest golf courses in the world, so maybe we're just jealous. But Yeah, I think Nessie, I get like almost like kind of like a Godzilla vibe from, not that it would look kind of like Godzilla, but I'm thinking like size and stature, just like when this thing emerges out of the water, it's just like magnificently large.
Yeah. I always picture like a long neck,
Yeah, like a brontosaurus kind of
yeah,
thing.
yep,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
just swimming in the water.
yeah. I think you're probably spot on with what like the general public
Mm-hmm.
depiction is.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, so everything to the Haunted Warren Museum opening up. And congratulations to just the Warren estate coming, more into the light, becoming more accessible. All the way to UFO and UAP information. It's constantly coming out, but this one they're trying to keep secret, and we want to know why. So if you have any information on those sightings, please send it our way. And then Nessie, 8 sightings this year, averaging out 1 a month. Are we going to get 12 this calendar year? I don't know, but I want to see some photo evidence. I want to see the picture. I want to see more. But without further ado, we're going to move into what we're talking about tonight, and how appropriate that we covered the Warrens a little bit, because the Warrens get involved in our case tonight. So I'm going to stop rambling here, and we're going to turn it over. Amy, please tell the people what we are talking about.
6 people were murdered inside this house. A year later, another family moved in. They knew what happened there. They knew the house had a history. But nothing could have prepared them for what they claimed would happen next. For 28 days, the Lutz family said their dream home became a nightmare. Strange odors, unexplained noises, things moving on their own, a mysterious presence watching them. A priest who allegedly heard a voice telling him to leave, and eventually a family so terrified that they abandoned the house and most of their belongings behind. Their story would become one of the most famous hauntings in American history. But there's a problem. What if the house wasn't haunted? What if it was something far more human? Tonight we're going to the house on Ocean Avenue, and we're going to separate the murders, the haunting, the evidence, and the legend to find out what really happened in Amityville.
Ooh. One of my favorite haunted houses. I'm very excited to talk about this one tonight. I grew up, my mom was like, she was a huge fan of this. I don't know which. I know there's a couple versions of the movie.
There's a lot of Amityville movies.
Yeah, I can't remember who was in the one that I've seen a bunch of times, but it was like my mom had like a little TV in the kitchen that had a DVD player hooked up to it, because our cable was weird and janky in our house growing up. And this was one of the staples that would be like in the DVD player.
I think there was a one from like 2005.
Yeah, there's one with Ryan Gosling, I'm pretty sure.
Ryan Reynolds. He's in the one from the early 2000s. Okay. I think he plays like one of the young sons.
Okay. Yeah. That might be the one that I've seen. That would track. Timeline would track. But no wonder I ended up interested in the stuff that I'm into, that like I would just like come home from school and we'd be like mid Amityville horror in the kitchen. Yeah, absolutely. So, why don't you bring us back to the beginning and tell us a little bit about, that famous night.
On the evening of November 13th, 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr., aka Butch, walked into one of the local bars in Amityville, New York. One of the patrons in the bar, named John Altieri, claims that when Butch came into the bar, he was shouting, "My father and mother have been shot."
Ooh.
Altieri and 4 other people from the bar ride back with DeFeo in his car to the house. And they all get to the house, and while Butch waits in the car, the rest of the guys go up to the 2nd floor of the house, and they find the 6 other family members in each of their beds with a gunshot wound to the back.
Oh, wow.
So they found Butch's parents, Ronald Sr. and Louise, his sister Dawn, who was 18, his sister Allison, who was 13, his brother Mark, who was 12, and his brother John Matthew, who was 7.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. So one of the men calls 911, and the next day, Butch was arrested for the murders. At first, he denies that it was him, saying that possibly it could have been a mob hit or...
Well, so I was watching something today, and apparently Butch's family had connections to the Genovese family in New York, so they were mob affiliated.
Yeah, it was believed that they were.
Yeah. Well, the Genovese family is like one of the original 5 families in New York.
Yeah.
So that's like a large like mob tie. So I don't think, from what I understand, that his story was like vastly unbelievable.
Yeah,
right
a lot of
away.
people in the neighborhood like believed that the family had mob ties.
But I think even like when Butch originally brought people back to his house and then police arrived on the scene, I think like it was said that like they got him away from the scene to like not contaminate, to like kind of contain him, and then also to bring him in for questioning. But I don't think they were immediately like, oh, he did it.
Yeah.
I think like his story was believable enough given like the circumstantial information.
Yeah.
And then I think like he like snapped in the like I think they just broke him by like continuing to like make sure his story wasn't changing up and things like that. And then, you know, he eventually like confesses. But I found that like very interesting because I there were a couple of things that I had looked into that kind of very like quickly like brushed over that, and I was like, you know, that's pretty key detail because like he's like very close to getting away with it, and then, you know, he kind of eventually gives himself up.
Yep. Yeah, so during his interrogation, he confesses and says, "Once I started, I couldn't stop."
Ugh, I hate that. That's gross.
And he also said that voices from the house were what made him a killer.
Oh, yeah. And that's like one of like the more like famed reports is like the house kind of like targets somebody and like speaks to them effectively.
Yep. And based on Butch's confession, detectives were able to locate the gun that was used at the murder in the canal behind the house. And the ballistics confirmed that it was a match for the gun that was used.
Oh, wow.
And in 1975, Butch was convicted of all 6 murders, despite trying to plead insanity.
Huh.
So his lawyers were trying to get him to... when you do an insanity plea, you have to plead guilty, but you're pleading guilty by insanity.
Yeah, right.
So
like I'm guilty, but I wasn't in my right mind when I did it.
They were trying to use that there were voices that were telling him to kill his family. And I don't know that they were necessarily like skewing paranormal in court, but just that he was hearing voices and that's what drove him. Right.
Voices could have just been mental illness.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
Yeah. And so they denied that. Wow. Okay.
Yep. And he was sentenced to serve 6 consecutive life sentences.
Wow.
Yep. He did try once to get a new trial, stating that his lawyer coerced him into the insanity defense, but that was denied.
I don't know that that's better, right?
Yeah.
Saying like, I wasn't crazy. Like, okay, well then stay right where you are.
Right.
Like, I'm not surprised that they denied the plea to be like, hey, it was better when we thought you were nuts.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know what I find really interesting about like that story specifically? You and I will both like shoot from time to time recreationally. Gunshots are incredibly loud. How did like so everything that I've seen is he shot dad twice, shot mom twice, and then single shot to each of the others. So presumably before he got to any of his brothers or sisters, 4 gunshots have rung out in the house by this point. And when the police took reports from neighbors, not one report reported that there was a gunshot.
No one heard anything.
That's crazy. I think one neighbor reported that like somewhere near the middle of the night, that the DeFeo's dog was like barking a ton and like wouldn't shut up.
Yeah.
But that was the only thing that was reported.
Yeah. No one heard any gunshots.
Which is even crazier if you think about it, because like you could say, and I wouldn't buy it because a gunshot is incredibly loud. They're in a residential neighborhood in Long Island. There shouldn't be a gunshot, so it would be like an alarming sound to hear. But like, if someone was up reporting that the dog was barking, then someone was awake.
Right.
Like someone was at least disturbed out of sleep by like, oh my God, this dog like won't stop barking.
Yeah.
But nobody heard a gunshot.
Right. And it's like, how could you sleep through that many gunshots, but then wake up to the dog barking after the fact?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. I saw like I forget where I saw it. Maybe it was Jack Osborne has like a good podcast episode on this with I don't know the woman's name,
Katrina.
But the medium that he works with.
No, Katrina's the one. She's from Paranormal State, I think, but the medium, she has like black hair.
Yeah, short black hair.
Yeah, I think it's like Cindy or something like that.
So they did an episode on this, and that was like one of the things that they were talking about. But I think they said that there was like a thought that the family could have been drugged.
Yeah, maybe.
But they were like all laying face down.
Right, which is very bizarre because it almost makes it seem like that maybe that's not where they were killed, but there's no evidence of that happening anywhere else.
No, so specifically, they say that there is no evidence that the bodies were moved post-mortem.
Right.
So it's like, you know, it like maybe you could think that it would have happened somewhere else, but they like examined to see if the bodies were, and they weren't.
Yeah, and it's like they all had their pajamas on, they were all laying face down, and all had the gunshot wounds like from their back.
There were two, and I don't remember which two it was, but I did see that there were two of the siblings showed signs of being awake when they were killed.
Oh.
But not that there was like any sign of struggle. So like maybe like, you know, I don't know what like the bedroom situation was, but like maybe someone woke up from one of the gunshots like at the time and then just like not quick enough to like do anything about it. But yeah, the circumstances around the murder of the family are, I mean, the circumstances around any murder of a family are horrific. Specifically, the circumstances around this there's just like a lot of really weird stuff. Yeah. But that one sticks with me because like that's such an incredibly loud sound, like, you know, ringing, and like at the time of day even it's like
they say it was probably around like 3:15 in the morning is what they're speculating.
There's not a sound happening. It's like breaking the dead silence, and it's just, it blows my mind that nobody would wake up and that no neighbors heard it either.
And also, so they say it happened at like 3:15 in the morning,
the witching hour.
I mean, technically the same day he went to the bar, but like it happened 3:15 in the morning, and then that day later that night he went to the bar saying his parents were shot. So there was like a whole like 12 plus hours that they were dead in the house before he went.
And I'm assuming he was just there the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So nobody
talking to the house.
Nobody really knows what his motive for doing this could be. A lot of locals claim that it stemmed from years of conflict with his father and jealousy towards his younger siblings. Obviously, the thought of inheritance, floats around as well. But people in the community described Butch as the black sheep of the family. One person claimed that he was very creepy and was always lurking around, and that he did. Have you seen a picture of him?
Yeah.
So what do you think he looks like? Like, first thought.
If I hadn't seen a picture of him, what do I think he looks like?
No, like when you looked at him, was there like a thought that you had that you were like, he looks like this person?
I don't know. I just saw it like in some of the video essays that I watched. Let me look him up and
Because I had this thought before I read what this person said, and I want to know if you think the same thing. It would be like a specific person.
yeah. I don't know.
Charles Manson.
Yeah.
It's the eyes. Look at his eyes. They're like that dark, like almost black, like creepy. Like you can just tell something's off.
No, I can definitely see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is weird.
Right? It's like he has that. It's not just that he has like dark brown eyes. It's like they're literally just like a darkness.
Yeah, they're vacant too.
Yeah.
Like like you know, I'm like seeing like a picture of him in the court right now too, and like he just looks like he's like,
and it's like it's almost like you can't even see the whites of his eyes.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
Creep. People say that when he was young, he partied hard and drank a lot and used drugs, but they also said that he's kind of always had behavioral issues, a bad temper, and constantly got into fights. And that's kind of what led him to constantly butt heads with his father. Some neighbors said that Ron Sr. was like abusive towards the kids. Others have said they haven't seen anything like that. But people said especially he was more abusive towards Butch, and that nobody wanted to get involved in any of their family drama because he bragged about having mob connections. So people were kind of like, probably not the dad, probably Butch.
Yeah, for sure, Butch.
Like, don't mess with me because, you know, type of thing, I feel like.
Who's the dude from The Sopranos that they end up like robbing Chrissy and like he just wants to be it's Jackie's son after Jackie dies. So Jackie
Jr.
Jackie Jr. is like that's who I you know, like just so hardly romanticizing like being mob connected,
right,
until he realizes like, oh my god, this is a very dangerous and terrifying lifestyle.
Yeah. The other weird thing was that people said that the family was like super Catholic and that they had even been seen praying in their front yard around like their baby Jesus statue.
Wow.
Yeah, right?
That's super strange.
It is weird. Because like considering all the things that, you know, could have been happening, it's like, why are they outside praying around the baby Jesus statue? Like, is there really maybe some things going on in the house, and then that's when they're all outside praying? Like, you know, something weird happened. Let's all go outside. It's just like a weird
group activity.
It is.
Yeah.
Very bizarre.
Like, you want to pray together, like, that's totally fine. Like, you know, your faith is your faith. You do you, but like, to like kind of like pray around a monument in your front yard, it's just not something you see on the day to day. Yeah. I do want to make like a note too, that when Butch was a teen, he saw a social worker about like his like violence and aggression, his hatred toward his family.
Yeah.
And I think at a certain point it said, and I couldn't find like any like paper trail or documented evidence on this, but I've heard that the social worker kind of like pulled like, you know, Butch's mother aside and said like, hey, like, I think you want to consider your options before he acts on some of the things that he's talking about.
Yeah, no, I think he definitely like was disturbed and like had problems.
Yeah.
And, you know, whether you want to believe maybe something could have been feeding off of that and making it worse, like, you know, all possibilities. Right. But, you know, could have just been that he snapped too.
Yeah. But I you know, when we look at like, you know, whether he says his lawyers coerced him or not, but like there was an insanity plea. There is documented evidence of him seeing a professional, and the professional having an opinion that like he could potentially be violent, you know, and then whatever, you know, what happened on that night happened.
Yeah.
It's like while there is a lot of interesting coincidence that lead towards the paranormal history and story around the
Mhm.
Amityville house, there is also a pretty clear line of events that could lead to just like a mental
Yeah.
break
Yeah.
and and
Right.
then acting on a violent crime.
Yeah, especially if he had like jealousy towards his siblings. Like, I think he was a
It was reported that he
significant.
said his brothers were monsters.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so he was like 24, I think, when this happened. So it's like he was
He was a kid.
significantly older than like his younger siblings.
Yes, 100%.
So-
But in the scheme of things, like 24 is so
No,
young.
like he is young, but I could see why there could be like a perceived like jealousy issue, like because they are so much younger than him, like
they're
getting
naturally
all
going to
the
get more attention.
attention.
Yep,
Right.
absolutely.
A lot of people speculate that maybe like him and Dawn were like planning this together and they were like acting out on it, but then he like turned on her at the end.
Is there
like,
any evidence to support
There's
that?
no evidence, but it's just like theories that, people throw out
People
there.
love to spin the yarn.
Exactly.
We're those people.
All right, so that kind of gives us, the history of what happens, what's the main event that happens in the house.
Yeah. And that's kind of where the house starts to get some of its lore around the
Yeah.
neighborhood. Yep,
Mhm.
absolutely.
So just 13 months after the murders, in 1975, George and Kathy Lutz purchased the home for only $80,000 and move in with their 3 children, Daniel, Christopher, and Missy. It's important to note that this house is extremely underpriced.
Yeah, sure.
The house also came fully furnished with all of the DeFeo's furniture,
Yuck, no
which
thanks.
is like a little weird, but
Yeah.
they reportedly kept it.
like the beds that they were all murdered in.
Mm-hmm. Some
That-
people say that they were even like using those bed frames and stuff.
No, that's a hard
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, and I've seen like a couple reports saying that they didn't know beforehand, or that they were local on Long Island.
Yeah.
And they knew obviously like what had happened, but they didn't realize that was the house they were going to look at until they got there.
Okay.
And then the realtor like disclosed that to them.
Yeah, that's fine. So you still don't buy it.
Right, but
It doesn't
But
matter
this
when you
house-
got that
yeah.
information.
But this was their dream home. It was waterfront property. I think it had like a pool. It had enough bedrooms. Like,
Had a murder.
it had a murder.
Or 6.
It was a little out of their price range. They were looking to in like the $30,000 to $50,000 range, but this was an incredible deal on a house, and they figured that they could live with what had happened there.
Yeah, I heard a report that said they weren't very superstitious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Superstitious or not, there was a like whether you want to believe in ghosts, in spirits or entities, or anything along those lines, there is an energy that comes with with traumatic events, I believe.
Especially when it's so fresh.
And I fully believe in like all the spiritual energy.
Yeah.
But just like think about just like the mental where like 6 people were murdered in the house that you just bought. Are you ever really gonna feel comfortable
Yeah.
just like knowing that event could have taken place where you're sitting watching TV at night, where you're laying your head down to sleep,
Right.
where you're sitting at the table with your family for dinner? Like paranormal, not paranormal, it's just like, is that like an event you want to like live in the belly of for the
Right.
rest of your life? Like,
And it's like,
no, for
right.
me.
Even though it didn't happen to you, it's like, couldn't that still like affect you in some way? Like affect your mental state?
That's what I
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, I think would there potentially be residual hauntings and unsettled energy?
Yeah.
And yeah, 100%. I think so. But even if you're not buying into that, I think there's just like the energy of like a large murder happened here, and it's just kind of like a dark place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is important to note that they only lived there for 28 days
Yep.
before they left.
Yeah. The famously short stint.
Yeah. But they definitely had friends who felt the same way that we did, because they begged them to have a priest come and bless the house at least.
Yeah.
They're like,
It's good friends.
yeah, exactly.
They got a nice circle.
Right. If you're gonna do it, at least have someone come and bless
Take the
the
proper
house.
precautions,
Yeah.
people. I don't think there's anything wrong with just getting your house blessed in general.
Yeah, I
Like
don't
you move
think
into a
so.
new place, you just don't know. And if you're like a faith-driven person or you're part of like a parish, just be like, hey, you want to just like come out?
Right, and I don't think it even has to be because you think that there's something negative. Like, you could just do it.
We just want a clean slate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Bless
Yeah.
our home.
Yep. So they contact a Catholic priest, Father Ray.
Father Ray.
Yeah. So Father Ray comes over, and he is doing his blessing on the house. He makes his way up to the second floor, and he's sprinkling holy water in one of the bedrooms that had belonged to Mark and John. Allegedly, the priest heard a disembodied voice that said, "Get out."
Oh no.
Yes, to which he did. But he finishes the blessing, and supposedly he doesn't tell the Lutz family about the voice, but he does warn them, do not use that specific room as a bedroom, and do not let anyone sleep in there.
Okay. First of all, that's terrifying. Second of all, have we not learned through almost every paranormal, or I don't want to say everything we talk about is pretty paranormal. Every haunting, cursed object, haunted house, all of the ones we talk about. Why are we withholding information? Play with the full deck of cards.
Right.
Just like they have hired you. Now, I don't know that it costs anything to get your house blessed.
Right.
I don't believe it does. But like I think maybe like an expected donation to
I
the
was
church.
just gonna say a nice donation next time.
A little
you go to
donation.
church.
a little 20 in the bucket. Especially if you bought your house for $80,000 in this lakefront property.
Yeah. On Long Island.
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah. Might have been a lot of money then, but you're
It
turning
probably
a profit.
costs like $1 million today.
Yeah. Newsflash for you. You're going to do okay. So give all of the information. Like if I'm asking you to come out and bless the house, it's because myself, somebody, there was a reason that
you know what house it is.
You know what house it is. And also like we brought you out here because like our friends were so shooken up that we bought this place that they like begged us to like get the house blessed. And then you go in and a disembodied voice tells you to get out of the house, and you're like, I'm just gonna keep that nugget to myself.
Yeah.
And then just be like, hey, I wouldn't hang out up there too much. So that's crazy to me.
Yep. Well,
Father Ray, I don't want to say that you were doing anything wrong, but like I think that's the information that they kind of wanted to know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they found it ominous, but they did listen to his advice, and they ended up turning that bedroom into a sewing room. And after conducting the blessing, Father Ray's hands broke out in hives, and he came down with a fever, which led him to believe more that there was an evil entity in the house.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty crazy. Also, hey, Father Ray, is that information you're going to share with the Lutz family? Like this dude he's going through it trying to bless this house, and then he's just like, I just wouldn't really use that room.
Yeah.
And not like,
it's fine.
There just might be a demon in your house. Like,
yeah.
Father Ray.
Right. Come on.
Yeah, like share the info, dude.
Yeah. So the Lutzes claim that from the very first night they moved in, they felt strange sensations. And it only took a few days for whatever was there to start affecting the family. The Lutzes started smelling mysterious foul odors coming from different parts of the house.
Oh, that's no good.
No. Black stains appeared on toilets and other ceramic fixtures.
That's also no good. That's like classic haunted house stuff.
Yeah. And they even started to see green slime appear all over the walls and windows.
No.
And the walls will ooze with green slime.
Come on now.
And multiple times the Lutzes claimed to try and call the priest, but their phones would cut out every time they tried.
get yourself in the car, drive to the church. They're like, we tried to call, but the phones weren't working.
Yeah. Oh well.
Whatever. The green slime's probably nothing, right?
Right.
The green slime is like,
I know.
there's just, like, I believe in all of it. There's no way.
I know. I just can't without thinking about SpongeBob.
100%.
They also reportedly heard screams in the house.
No, get yourself out.
Experienced the feeling of being touched by an unknown force.
Oh my God.
One time a knife even flew across the kitchen, and the garage doors would just open and close by themselves.
No way. Like, that's too much. That's enough activity right there that I'm leaving.
Yeah. So it seemed like George was the one that was being targeted the most by whatever was in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And he supposedly would sometimes hear voices. Even after just a few days in the home, George's behavior started to change.
Oh boy.
He started to become very irritable and would get agitated very easily, especially towards the children. And I believe all three of the children are his stepchildren.
Okay. Now, do we know anything like about George? Like, was he notoriously like a hothead? Was he like,
this is all like polarizing behavior change for him. He supposedly never like got frustrated with the kids before or was irritable like that or anything towards them.
It always kind of so like when you see stuff like that, I'm always like, where's your partner, in the mix to be like, hey, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
You're not yourself. Talk to me. Like, what's happening? Like, it is. And I would never shuffle off the blame of somebody's actions to somebody else. But like, you do have like a bit of a responsibility as somebody's partner to be their check-in point. And it's like, if they're in a funk, if they're acting a certain way, to kind of come out and be like, hey, like
that's not you.
Exactly.
Right.
What's up? And maybe you get an answer that says, I don't know, I'm hearing voices around the house and I'm just so angry all the time. And it's like, cool, let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also had drastic change in his personal hygiene. So he kind of like stopped shaving and stopped showering.
Oh, he just got yucky.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we hate that. We hate a yucky dude.
Yeah. He was constantly cold in the house and spent a lot of his time feeding the fireplace. They said there was just like...
Always.
Yeah. Freezing cold.
Yep. And always a fire going in the house is what I heard, is that like he just kept that thing ripping like all the time.
Yep. And he would always wake up in the middle of the night at exactly 3:15 a.m.
No. And that's when they said that
they believe that the murders took place.
Yeah. Oh, man.
One night, he even woke up to look over and watch his wife, Kathy, turn into a 90-year-old hag.
I mean, get out of the house.
Yeah.
Like, has not enough happened? I'm sorry, but like the green slime coming out of the walls would have been... I wouldn't have been in that house for 60 seconds past seeing that. Yeah. Like, I would have just like grabbed Lily, grabbed as many of the animals as I could and just been like, we don't live here anymore. That house is as good as dead. Just leave all your stuff. Like, we'll get new stuff. Like, we'll get not haunted stuff. Right. Like, it's just like the escalation of events over such a short time period and just like the absolute deterioration of George that we're seeing is just like we're not talking about like red flags. We're talking about like crimson banners like flying in the sky.
Like, is it happening or is it not happening? This is like something's going on.
Something is happening for certain.
Yeah. George would even hear their dog Harry barking in the boathouse in the middle of the night. And one night in particular, it was driving him crazy. And no one else seemed to be bothered by it.
Oh no.
So he storms outside, goes up to the boathouse, but there's a lock on the door. And he still unlocks it. he can still hear Harry barking inside. And when he opens the door, the dog is not in there.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Because they said the night that the murders happened, that the only reported sound was the neighbor saying that dog was barking all night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just got goosebumps. What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know this.
Yeah, crazy.
That is so creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Yeah, okay. All right, it just turned up a notch.
I know. And another night he awoke to find Kathy levitating above the bed. And when he went to check on the children, he also found Christopher and Daniel levitating as well.
No.
Yeah.
No. Have you ever seen there's this dude, and I gotta find it. Hold on. Yeah, so this dude's on YouTube. I'm sure he's other places. The channel name is We Made It Together.
Mm-hmm.
But he has like all those videos that's like when your apartment's haunted but the rent is cheap.
Oh.
And it'll be like crazy stuff going on, and
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
like why is that this? Like I'm not saying that like I mean yeah, they did get a crazy deal on the house because there was a murder in it and it's apparently very haunted, but it's like you're walking into you wake up and your wife is a 90-year-old hag and you're like, cool, maybe I just caught her without makeup on or something, I don't know.
Right, you're like, maybe I wasn't fully awake.
Yeah.
I'm still dreaming, I don't know.
And then like another night you wake up and she's just like levitating above the bed and you're like, that's weirard.
Yeah.
And then you
Let
walk
me
down
just casually get out of bed and go check on the kids.
and like, oh weird, they're doing it too. Like, yeah, I mean,
like,
it's just
okay.
it's so ridiculous to just like have absolutely like no, it's like it, you know, like he just has the most chill. Like
right, like
just,
these things are just happening and it's not like
completely
there's
unfazed.
no reaction.
Completely
it's just
unfazed.
Like, oh, she was levitating. Let me go look at the kids. Oh, they're levitating.
You know what? Like in like
moving on
in like a more like lighthearted, like comedic view, it's almost like what's his name? Is it Ted? Is the husband in Stranger Things?
Yeah,
yeah. It's very Ted energy to just be like, oh, weird.
Yeah,
kids are doing something weird. Like, just like how like. I mean, you could have a full-blown shadow person standing in front of him throwing a baseball off his forehead, and he'd be like, I just don't know what's going on in the house. Like, this place is crazy.
Yeah. And even Kathy started having disturbing dreams, especially about Lois DeFeo's death.
Oh, that's a red flag.
Yeah. She would dream of her being shot in the head, although she was shot in the torso. And she also would dream of her body being removed from the cemetery.
Oh.
And she also...
quick question, and I think, like, I'm imagining the timeline does not really support like a family, but they're not family plot like on the property, right? Like they were
not.
Yeah, I would say like you said the DeFeo murder was 70s, right? Yeah, there's no way.
No. She would also have dreams that Lois was having an affair with the man who painted all of the DeFeo family portraits.
Huh. That's weird.
Weird dreams.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe she's just like she's just letting Kathy know because she's just like, I don't know, I'm here and I got all these secrets and you're gonna know about them. Now the dreams that Kathy is having, is she having almost like omniscient observer, like out of body dreams where like she's like seeing the murder happening, or is she having like a POV dream that she's
I think more
Lois
like
DeFeo.
seeing it happening.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say, how scary would that be? Like if you were like,
yeah,
you know, living in your dream as Lois and then being murdered every night. That's horrifying.
And their daughter, Minnie, started spending a lot of time in her room and playing with an imaginary friend she called Jody.
Nope. That's where I draw the line.
And she described Jody as a red-eyed pig that could change shape and size, and she could not be seen by anyone unless she wanted them to.
Dear Lord, that is
so weird.
That's like horrifying.
Yeah.
That's like, could you imagine?
But she wasn't scared by it.
Well, I mean, wait, Minnie wasn't scared by it? Oh, well, kids are weird.
Yeah.
Kids are weird. Kathy should have been horrified by it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I could absolutely see that. Like, Lily's like just playing and you know, we're like, oh, like, who are you talking to? And she's just like, I just like this weird, you know, red-eyed weird pig goat, you know, that is living in our house. And I'd be like, cool. First off, you're never talking to that thing again.
Yeah.
Second of all, we're moving. Yeah. I don't care if we're moving into the car.
Yeah.
We're moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that like the story is so irritating because there's just like so, and I mean, I know it's a lot happening over a short period of time. So it feels like, how are you ignoring these red flags? And it's like, honestly, they don't make it more than a month. So potentially I'm not giving them enough credit because they do make the decision to leave ultimately. But like, it's like, I just would have left on like day one. Like, I'm not doing like, well, first of all.
Well, you wouldn't have bought the house.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
No way. It's a crazy decision to buy the house.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, again, there's just no way with the green slime. Yeah. But if in a world, hypothetical world, where there is green slime leaking out of the walls, I don't know what that's all about. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. And anybody with a brain should be out.
Exactly.
I'm not trying to talk crap, you know, they're like, but like, come on. Come on.
Yeah.
You gotta be out of there.
Yeah. Yep. And sorry, her name is Missy, not Minnie.
Oh, okay.
I think Minnie is Jean's mom.
Yes.
Robert.
Yep, you are correct.
Yes.
So Missy.
Missy.
Yeah, so Missy and her red-eyed pig demon friend, Jody.
Yeah.
What?
Right. Pig girl.
Pig girl. Horse girl.
All right. And Daniel, who was 9 at the time, he even confirmed later that at exactly 3:15 a.m. every night, there was strange phenomenon that would occur in the house. But he did believe that the hauntings might have had something to do with the fact that George was very interested in the occult.
George was interested in the occult before they bought the house?
I believe so. And maybe that some of his interests could have...
When did they buy the house? 13 months after, so 76?
After the murders. 75.
75 was the murders, right?
74 was the murders.
74 was the murders. 75 they bought the house. When was the Satanic Panic?
The 80s, but I'm sure there was some kind of
like a ramp up time.
Yeah,
so,
it didn't just come out of nowhere.
So he like, not that it's not weird that he's like super into the occult, but like timeline would suggest that like that wouldn't be like as obscure of a thing to start being.
Or maybe it was just something that, you know, he wasn't like weirded out about. Maybe he wasn't like fully dived into, but was like, yeah, you know, like here and there I look into it, I dabble, and then maybe once they moved into the house it was like really became an interest.
Right. Like I'm over here being like, what a red flag.
Yeah. What are we doing?
Yeah. Hi, it's me.
But yeah, so he believed that maybe that could have had something to do with what was happening in the house.
Sure, not a bad thought.
But Christopher had also backed up these claims, but does say that some of the stories did seem to be exaggerated by George.
Okay.
But
yeah.
You know.
I mean, George was going through it.
Right.
So.
But he's also not saying that it didn't happen.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think there's enough there to be like,
Yeah.
saying like, yeah, obviously something crazy was happening. Something crazy was happening long before they moved into the house because, like, if we have Butch saying like the house was talking to me and there were voices in my head that made me kill my whole family, it's like, okay, that could
Right.
be an isolated mental break. We don't have enough evidence to say that that was something like truly paranormal. But then you have another family move in where within the 28-day stay that they're in there, George has a full-blown like 180 personality shift to become a potentially
Yeah.
dangerous individual. Well, the movie portrayed him as a potentially dangerous individual.
Yeah.
I don't want to say where we go with that.
Yeah.
But like,
I didn't really read anything that he was doing like concerningly where like the family felt like they were in danger from him.
right, enough that they were just like, hey man, something is up with
Yeah.
you, and I have a feeling it's this super creepy house that we're living in. And they're experiencing like primarily poltergeist activity.
Yeah.
Like people levitating, things moving. The 3:15 is I mean, I know they say that that's the witching hour, but like there's a lot of call to the 3:15, which is pretty interesting.
Yes. There was also a small closet located under the stairs in the basement
Harry
that
Potter?
they called the Red Room.
You're a wizard, Harry.
And they claimed that the Red Room smelled like blood.
Come on.
And that the dog Harry became petrified if he was ever brought near it.
You have to listen to the dogs. We've said that before. I think we talked about that in Sally House, maybe, because the dog would always like bark at the nursery.
Yep.
Like they have a sixth sense. You have to listen to your animals.
Yeah.
If they see a new room or something like that and they start like freaking out, or there's a house that they don't want to go in or something like that, like listen to that animal.
Yeah, absolutely. And they even claim that it could be the gateway to hell.
Oh. I mean, that's a lofty claim.
Yeah.
Smelling like blood, though, is a huge red flag.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
They also found flies in the house. And not just normal house flies. One day in the dead of winter. And we're talking the dead of winter, New York.
Yeah.
So
cold, windy.
Cold. Flies are not alive. Hundreds of flies appeared in the sewing room, and there were so many that they like covered the whole window.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's like a lot.
Yeah. Disgusting.
Yeah.
And like we said before, the Lutzes allegedly tried to get back in contact with Father Ray. And they wanted him to come back to the house, but they did not have any luck with that. He did not want to come back. So they decided to take matters into their own hands. And supposedly the family walked around the house with a crucifix reciting the Lord's Prayer. And in response to this, a chorus of ghostly voices asked, "Will you stop?"
Oh no. No, just run.
Yeah.
Just run for your life. Like, that's enough evidence to know that, like, you're in trouble.
Yeah. And no one really knows exactly what went down on the final night before the Lutz family fled the house. But what we do know is that there's claims of marching band-like sounds echoing throughout the house and banging around. Furniture was moving all around by itself, and the children were being terrorized. And after just 28 days, the family decides to flee the home, and they go and stay with Kathy's mother.
Great choice, family.
Yeah. And they did have intentions to return to the house after they could figure out how to get rid of the evil spirits.
Bad choice, family.
But they claim that the spirits followed them out of the house, and that while they were staying with Kathy's mother, the green slime appeared on the staircase and was moving towards them.
What?
And George and Kathy also claimed that they both woke up one night and they were both levitating in bed.
At Kathy's mother's house?
Yeah.
What the hell?
And this is when they decided that they were never going to return to the house again.
Good choice, family. Yes. That's crazy. Poor Kathy's mother.
I know. They
like,
just brought that into her house, too.
Hey, guys, there's a Motel 6 down the street.
Yeah, you need to get out.
Yeah, goodbye.
Right.
Blood ain't thicker than those demons. You can get out of my house.
Right. And then, just 20 days after the Lutzes fled the house, a newspaper reporter from Channel 5 New York called in none other than Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Get the Warrens up in here. They got to see the green slime.
Oh, yeah. So they gear up for an investigation and assemble a team of reporters, investigators, and parapsychologists.
Okay.
The Lutzes didn't even want to go back to the property to let them inside the house. And George met Ed and Lorraine about 4 blocks away just to give them the key. Like, they just wouldn't go back.
Yeah, great decision. I love their change in energy.
Yeah,
it's just
the
like,
change of heart is.
Yeah. I want nothing to do with that place. Yep, good choice.
Yeah. And allegedly, when they asked George what made the family flee, he said he was too afraid to even speak about it.
That's terrifying.
And when the Warrens entered the house, they could see the state that it was left in, and it reflected what the family had said, that they had left suddenly.
Right, because they just dipped.
Yeah,
Like,
they said there was like dishes left out on the counter, like house plants that looked like they desperately needed to be watered. Like literally just...
They fled.
Yep.
They fled.
And when she walked in, Lorraine immediately felt an overwhelming feeling of depression. And Ed said that it reeked of death in the house. And so the Warrens did claim that before they went, they had no idea of the history of what had happened there.
Okay.
With the murders. And the first place that Ed went to was the basement, and he asked the spirit to reveal itself while he was holding a crucifix. He says he felt a sudden pressure on his head and shoulders, which forced him down onto the floor. And he felt a weird electric feeling all over his skin, like electric pins and needles, and he was having a hard time breathing.
Whoa.
And when he commanded the spirit to leave in the name of the blood of Christ, that's when he felt the sensations lift.
Whoa.
All the meanwhile, Lorraine is on the main floor with the crew.
Okay.
And she ends up being in the room where all of the bodies of the DeFeo family were put before they were removed from the house.
And she sees them.
Yep.
No way. How disturbing.
Yeah, she says she sees, she has a vision of bodies lined up on the floor.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
And then she heads upstairs, also holding a crucifix. And as she's walking up the staircase, she says she feels the intense pressure of like rushing water coming down at her.
Whoa.
And when she gets up the stairs, she goes into the sewing room where Father Ray heard the voice.
Yep.
And she enters and states, "I hope this is the closest to hell that I'll ever get."
Stop. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Nuts.
Can you go there?
No. It's a private residence.
Oh, wow.
Still.
Do people live there? What? What?
Yeah. So she decides to sit down on one of the beds, and she's going to try and contact any of the spirits in the house. And it's said from people in the room that they immediately started to experience intense panic and heart palpitations.
Oh my God.
And since then, supposedly most of these men have died from heart problems.
What?
Yeah.
That's insane. How did I not know this?
I know. And Lorraine has said that this was one of the most haunted houses that she had ever stepped into.
Wow.
And they believed...
Coming from the people that...
investigate a lot.
Coming from the people that dealt with the Conjuring house.
Yeah.
I mean... That's insane.
But they believed the hauntings could be caused by the land. Honey the land. At one time, the Shinnecock Indians had an enclosure on this land that was used to house the sick and the insane or not right in the mind.
They had a sanatorium.
Yes. the Native American sanatorium.
Yeah, effectively, that's what they had.
Yes, but in this enclosure, basically, the people were left to die.
Oh,
And they believe...
So they had a sanatorium.
Yeah. And they believe that the suffering that had occurred there left the property with a very negative energy and dark history. And that such a negative history was basically just a magnet for demonic spirits.
I mean, if you think about it, maybe not in like the textbook context, but with what they did to their like fellow people by like effectively like leaving them for dead, they created an Indian burial ground on the property.
Yeah, that's very true.
For lack of a better term, like they had a bunch of unsettled spirits. And like, I won't speak to the Shinnecock, specifically, but like Native American or like indigenous American people like are a very spiritual people, and like burial rituals and rites are like very important to how the spirit of that individual gets handled. So essentially, to board a bunch of like sick people up and just leave them for dead is like, if you're a believer in the spirituality in the afterlife, and then that's a recipe for disaster.
It also doesn't necessarily seem like something that they do, but
like I said,
I don't know.
I'm not going to broad stroke it. I don't know anything about the Shinnecock, like specifically. But I would say I would tend to agree with you that seems like it wouldn't follow the guidelines of what I know of the few Native American cultures that like I've gotten more in tune with.
Yeah. All right. So we do have a famous photograph from this investigation.
Oh, tell me it's the little boy at the bottom of the staircase.
So one of the crew members, Gene Campbell, captures what they say is a demonic boy with glowing red eyes on an infrared time-lapse photo.
If I can find it, I will put the photo right here.
Oh, yeah.
But this is like, I don't know that you would even call it an apparition. I mean, this is a photo of a person.
It's solid.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, it's like but like they said that child was not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like this photo right here, that's John DeFeo. And they say that it looks a lot like him.
Get me that picture so I can put it up on the episode, because like that is shocking.
Yeah.
That is shocking resemblance. I will say that's the second time tonight that I got full body chills.
Yeah. So, however, this photo was not released to the public at the time. It was released years later, which is kind of important to note just because of like the skepticism that has been said surrounding the case.
Sure.
Like, why wasn't this released at the time? I mean, we don't know that. But yeah, some people believe that the photo is of 9-year-old John DeFeo.
Yeah, I mean, that resemblance is pretty shocking.
Yeah.
But I would say like that is probably the clearest apparition picture that I have ever seen.
Yeah.
If that's truly an apparition, then I mean that I've never seen anything that looks like that.
More clear.
Yeah.
And after Ed and Lorraine left the house, they concluded that it was indeed haunted.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they both effectively were like, hell is in this place. Like the door to it is here.
Yeah.
If you're wondering where the breach is, we've stumbled upon it.
Yep. All right. So the huge twist, was it all made up?
Yeah, that's the big controversy.
So, actually, Butch DeFeo's lawyer, William Weber, was also an associate of Kathy and George Lutz. And Weber actually told the Associated Press in 1979 that Kathy made up all of her nightmares. He even wrote an article for People magazine where he stated that himself, George, and Kathy all made up the story one night while drinking lots of wine.
Huh.
And later, the Lutzes, so there was a book written, and
Yeah, who wrote the book?
the book was written by Jay Anson, and it was written in 1977. So just 2 years after, like, all of this took place.
Now, was it, like, in conjunction with the Lutz family? Like, so they were profitable off of the book.
Right. And supposedly it was, like, the three of them. So maybe he was, supposed to be, like, their lawyer or something.
Yep.
But he states that once the ventures became profitable, they cut him out. The Lutzes cut him out.
So do we believe his account at all, or is he just a jealous guy that's like, I could have had it?
Yeah, I don't know. And in 1995, Stephen and Roxanne Kaplan wrote a book called The Amityville Horror Conspiracy, where they detailed their multi-year investigation into the haunting, arguing that the whole thing was a hoax.
Whoa.
And a neighbor states that Jody the pig that Missy would see staring at her through her bedroom at night was just a fat farm cat.
Huh.
That walked around the neighborhood.
Interesting.
Yeah. And Father Ray was later interviewed and said that he never actually went to the house. He just talked to the Lutzes over the phone.
Huh.
That's not proven information either.
Okay.
That's just kind of floating around out there. Butch was even later asked about the accounts of evil spirits and hauntings in his former home. And he said, quote, "The only thing that's real were the murders. Yes, it's all a hoax. All about money. A cold-blooded murder, period. No ghosts, no demons. This ain't funny no more. People look in my eyes like I'm possessed or something. I'm sick of it."
Huh. So he's taking ownership. He's like fully taking ownership. Well, I mean, this is also the guy that was like, I wasn't insane. I did it.
Right.
For over 2 cents.
Yeah. There's also just, a lot of psychological stuff going on there with that too. And even after Kathy and George divorced in 1988, they never wavered from their story.
I mean, let's just spin zone and say that they did make it up, and that even
you can't, right?
Yeah, even divorced, that's the moneymaker. Yeah,
right.
Yep.
And at this point, it's like they're still making money. Like,
well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, like, we're gonna get divorced. We don't want to be together, but like, we also don't want to turn the gravy train off.
Right. By 1988, there was already multiple movies made.
Right.
And in 1979, they both actually even took polygraph tests and passed.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if it's like actually possible to trick a polygraph. I mean, you see it in movies all the time. I'm sure there's some person out there that can do it, but I mean, for like the average individual to be able to do it, I don't know like how realistic that is. So I would say, like, I mean, it is what it is. Like, take it or leave it. But if they're able to pass the polygraph, I feel like that's relatively impressive.
Yeah. So people wonder, if it wasn't hauntings, why did they really leave? Some say it could have been financial troubles. We know that even though the house was a great deal, it was technically out of their price range by about 30 grand. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe they just, weren't able to afford it.
Right. Bought the house, realized they were house broke once they moved in, and just did something desperate for money.
Yeah. And I mean, others believe that the haunting was true and that they fled out of fear. But after the Lutzes moved out, there were new owners that had moved in, and they have claimed to experience zero paranormal activity.
Whoa.
And they even had the address changed from 112 Ocean Avenue to 108 Ocean Avenue to try and keep curious onlookers away from the house, because they were being bothered by people, just showing up and want to get a glimpse of it.
Way to dox them right on the show.
Yeah, well, it's already out there, so I guess it didn't work that well. Maybe for a little bit, but can't really change the way the house looks. I mean, you can, but
Yeah,
with some paint or whatever.
it's
But
very true.
the location doesn't change, even if
No,
the
it does
number
not.
does.
Or those historic windows. I mean, you can pretty much
Mhm.
spot that house a mile away.
Yeah. And like we said before, in 1977, Jay Anson wrote The Amityville Horror, a true story.
Mm.
The book claims to tell the true story of George and Kathy Lutz, and it has faced many criticisms because many people and investigators and the later owners of the property claim that the events are false. And the Lutz family and the book even faced legal battles over the claims that the story is true. Because the book literally says like a true story, not like based on a true story
Right.
or,
Yeah.
anything
they're being
indicating that something could be, exaggerated or
right.
whatever.
So they're bringing attention to themselves. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And now they're getting the heat.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. But I mean, this story really did shape pop culture. The story became the blueprint for the modern haunted house trope. And popularized the archetype of the evil house where the American dream disintegrates into psychological and financial ruin.
Yep.
In 1979, the first film, The Amityville Horror, was made, and there was dozens more after that.
Yeah.
And that morphed into one of the most popular horror franchises of all time. There are documentaries made, and as much as the story has been featured in movies and, like we said, documentaries and other paranormal TV shows, no prominent paranormal investigation crews have ever been invited to investigate or film in the house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Which is because
interesting.
they don't want to push the story, or is that because there's nothing to investigate? I guess that's the $1 million question.
But also, too, I guess if you own the house, like, why not just let someone come in to show that there's nothing?
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a great point, is, you could easily debunk it yourself and just be like, hey, we're going to put it to bed.
Right. And it's like, you don't even have to, like, and I know sometimes it's like, once you let one, like, they all come knocking at the door. But,
get Zach in
it's
there.
like, just pick one, have them come in, and if there's truly nothing there, let's see it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so what do we think? Was it real? Was it fake? I mean, obviously the murders real.
The murders are real. Yep, absolutely.
Do you believe that the Lutz family experiences were fabricated, or do you think that they were real? A lot of people think that they aren't real just because of, I think, how crazy it gets so fast.
I don't think that like one or the other has to be true. I think it could easily be a blend of both. I'll kind of give you like my thoughts on both. So with Butch, I think there's enough evidence there to say that he was probably on the road to doing something violent or, dangerous without the push from any kind of paranormal entity. It is a very bizarre claim to say that the house was talking to me and like made me do it or wanted me to do it or encouraged me to do it.
Yeah.
That's just, listen, I'm not trying to rationalize mental illness, but that is like a very specific thing to say. It's not like, I don't know. I think that you can't overlook that statement.
Yeah.
And then to have the Lutz family move in and George experience a lot of the same things that Butch kind of confessed to when he confessed to the murder of his parents, or the murder of his family, for that matter. So I think you do have to look at that if you're coming at it from a paranormal lens. Now, do I think the walls oozed with green slime? Unless it was the Krusty Krab, I don't think so. I truly just cannot believe that. Maybe I just don't want to believe it. I don't know, but I don't think so. I think a lot of what we hear from that house sounds more Hollywood than real. But
That's not to say that there wasn't stuff happening.
bingo. That's exactly where I was going.
Mhm.
I think what we have here is a classic case of like romanticizing the truth. Like,
Mhm.
so maybe there was some stuff going on that was strange.
Yeah.
And then a yarn got spun to turn
Mhm.
it into like a phenomenal ghost story.
Well, right. Especially, when someone comes knocking on the door saying, hey, I want to write a book. It's kind of like, well, how can we amp this up to make it more interesting? How
Yeah.
can we make it so they actually want to finish writing this book and not after they interview us say, not as exciting as I thought.
And also, it's definitely possible to convince yourself that the lie is true
Mm-hmm.
to the point that you could pass a polygraph.
Yeah.
Like I think,
especially if part of it is true.
yeah. I think like if I had to guess, and I'm not going to break it down to like each paranormal event,
Yeah.
but like I think there's a combination of things going on here. Do I think that the story and the account is dramatized and polarized? 100%. Like I think
Mhm.
we're getting a very exaggerated.
Yeah.
We're getting a great ghost story. That's
Mhm.
what we're getting. We're getting
Yeah.
a great ghost story. Now, do I think something was happening in the house that kind of inspired that? It definitely feels that way.
Yeah.
I think there's too much coincidence in what people are saying. That would lead me there. But I think that while there is enough evidence to prove that, I don't think there's enough evidence for me to definitely say
Mhm.
like, hey, this place is 100% paranormal. I believe a lot in the Warrens,
Mhm.
and the comments that they made when they went out there leads me to believe like there's no way they're like that there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
But do I think it's as active as Georgia's stories make it seem? I would have a hard time believing that.
I
Yeah,
think so.
if so, it's one of the craziest haunted places in the world.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that. Another thing that people say why they think like the whole thing was made up is that because the Lutzes knew like the activity and stuff in the house, that they purposefully purchased the house to like profit off of it.
Right.
But
The whole thing was
you
a
have to
scheme.
think about like it's the 1970s. Like we're not in the era of social media and you can be, setting cameras up around your house like I'm going to buy this haunted house and we're going to, make this content that it's
Yeah.
haunted and it's going to blow up. Like what you think that they're like we're going to get book deals and movie deals and well like I just don't think that was
I mean, maybe.
like as prevalent of a thought that it might be like today.
I don't mean to disagree with you, but you're
Mhm.
looking at it. You're looking at it through a lens where you have more information than they
Yeah.
did. They didn't know. Like, if you said social media, they would have been like, social what? Like, what are you talking?
Yeah.
You relocating?
Yeah. Sorry.
All right, everybody situated?
We good.
Okay. So, you're looking at it through a lens where you just have more information than they did. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't know what social media was. They didn't know what it was going to be. There was absolutely no evidence that in that point in time anything like that was coming
Mhm.
down the horizon. So did they think that they could spin that into a book deal or a movie deal? I mean, probably.
Yeah.
Probably,
maybe.
because that
especially
was
for,
the
like,
medium.
Yeah. Like,
And because that was the medium, it didn't have to be like a phenomenal book. Like, that's
Yeah.
how people were consuming their content.
Mhm.
Like the idea of walking into like the drugstore and picking up a paperback was far more common than that is
Yeah.
today.
Mhm.
So I definitely think they could have been like planning to exploit it. It seems pretty calculated to me.
Right. Because it's just not a guarantee. But
Yeah, but I mean, nothing in the world's a guarantee.
yeah.
I mean, there's nothing you're going to do that you could say like, hey, I'm going to throw my chips into this and it will be profitable. And like, there's no risk on the other end of it.
Mhm.
So I don't think you can rule it out. I definitely don't think you can rule it out. I think for me, it just feels very calculated and I
Mhm.
just don't know I don't know if that's the case. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. My gut doesn't lean that way. My
Mm-hmm.
gut leans more like maybe they just seized the opportunity that they had because they did experience something. And then when they started creating it as an actual story, it just kept getting sensationalized and sensationalized
Yeah.
and sensationalized. I mean, the editing process can do that to you where you're like, hey, it would really be
Mm-hmm.
great if you had this or that. And it's like, then you start spinning the truth until,
Right.
you don't even know what the truth is anymore.
Right.
So I think it definitely could be a case of that, but there's definitely like those like devil's advocate moments. Like they both passed a polygraph.
Yeah.
The Warrens went there and claimed that it was, potentially one of the
Mm-hmm.
closest places to hell that they could possibly
Yeah.
imagine. The priest has very conflicting information. Like, at one point, he's talking about he heard a disembodied voice that told him to get out. And
Right. And then we're hearing that like I never
I was
actually
never
went to
even
the
there.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to know if the account of his time at the house is ever recorded or
Mm-hmm.
spoken about by anyone but like the Lutz family.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
because if the Lutz are telling us that he experienced that disembodied voice and everything like that, and then we're already assuming that they're fabricating their story, it's like, I guess we can't really take that
Right.
as like a legitimate
Mm-hmm.
scenario. We have to just take the priest more at
Yeah.
face value,
Mm-hmm.
on what he says. But
Yeah.
I don't know who said it, expressly. So,
Right. Yeah. The other thing is I don't think we can take any stock in what Butch says. Like
yeah.
he's claiming that now that there's no haunting in the house. And I just think too that like people that are whatever you want to call it, like sociopathic or whatever, the reason that they do these things is because they want to be famous. They want the notoriety. They want this and that. Well, now all of a sudden this haunting of the Lutz family is blowing up and he's not the center of attention of this story anymore.
He's like, yeah, it's not haunted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was my thought about like that statement that he made.
Yeah. No, that's definitely, that's very plausible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess I don't have like a real definitive landing spot, but I think like I believe it was haunted.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it is haunted.
Yeah.
I believe that there were experiences had in the house. Do I think that the house has a demonic presence that is trying to convince people to kill their loved ones and is like riddled with like violently aggressive poltergeist activity?
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know. I'm not seeing a clear enough. You know what I say like all the time. I'm like, when we get witness testimony that starts to line up across multiple accounts so that you
Mm-hmm.
can get like those unbiased touch points where it
Yeah.
says like all these people are reporting the same thing. We have the exact opposite. We have a bunch of different people saying a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
And most of them lead to it not being haunted, and all of them seem like they're getting a different sort of story from like either the Lutzes or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know. I think there's too many paths that are getting crossed for me to definitively say like the story's true.
Right. And it's like I think Butch was on the path. I think he had a mental illness, and I think he either just would have, continued to be a violent person, get into fights, or eventually snap. Maybe there was some kind of dark lingering energy in the house that brought that out more.
Yeah.
And just kind of escalated his mental illness and, made him snap.
Yeah. It's definitely a possibility. But yeah, I think we kind of got to call this one like maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I think maybe we have to try to get in there and see what's going on. But it sounds incredibly hard. It sounds like even like the big network stations have a hard time getting in. I don't think it's not been investigated. I just think it's very, very rare that they let people in.
Yeah, it's people live there now. It's a private residence.
They're probably not trying to sensationalize the story.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Still wouldn't be buying it because regardless of what happened, that murder still happened.
Yeah, and it was horrific, and I just wouldn't want to be thinking about that when I'm walking around my house.
Nope, 100%. All right.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Me too.
Perfect. So let us know what you think. We want to know. Tell us what your thoughts are on the Amityville house. Did it happen? Did it not happen? Was the whole thing a hoax? Do you believe Ed and Lorraine Warren's experiences when they were there? Do you believe, what George and the Lutz family were saying? What do you think about Butch? Do you think he was insane, or do you think that the house was talking to him and telling him to commit a vicious act? Whatever you believe, tell us about it. Leave it down in the comments. Send us a DM. Shoot us an email. But most importantly, if you've made it this far in the video, go ahead and drop a comment down below. Let us know what you think of the show. And go ahead and subscribe on YouTube if you hadn't. And if you're listening on Spotify, 5-star reviews are the number one way for the show to continue to get pushed. So if you've made it this far and you're listening, we would love if you could leave us a rating. Let us know what you think of the program. Tell people why they should listen. But for tonight, that is all I have. So you all know what you need to do. You need to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify at the Séance Parlor Pod.
Have you had a paranormal experience or creepy encounter of your own? We want to know.
So go ahead and drop that story down in the comments or email it to us at theseanceparlorpod@gmail.com.
And we may even feature one of your stories in a future episode.
That's all for tonight, folks. The parlor is closed. We'll see you next time.